So this actually happened in the middle of the night last night while you were probably sleeping. I hope you were sleeping. House Republicans voted to block the release of records related to Jeffrey Epstein. That includes witness testimony like Ghislaine Maxwell's. Ghislaine Maxwell reportedly wants to testify. She's in prison. She says, I was never offered a deal. I know so much. I'm willing to speak publicly on the record to Congress. And aside from not being offered a deal, Republicans are now saying no. Republicans who supposedly want transparency and accountability and law and order, they are voting, as you can see here, they voted to prevent that. The vote came during a late night Rules Committee session. Republicans shot down a Democratic amendment. It would have required the Attorney General to preserve and release the Epstein files, including who was involved, who visited, who abused. Why would you block it? Why would you protect this information? Why would you protect anyone connected to Epstein if he's really the villain Republicans made him out to be for years, including while Biden was president, even though, of course, Epstein was arrested when Trump was president and he died in a cell while Trump was president, because this goes way beyond Epstein. There's a report that Ghislaine Maxwell is eager to talk about the client list, that she would welcome the opportunity to testify before Congress. Not only was she never asked, now Republicans are trying to make sure she never gets the opportunity. She says there was no plea deal. She's the only one in prison. She says the government has never come to her and said, please name names. That's a little bit unusual, isn't it? You'd think it's the first thing that they would want, unless the names are what? Too powerful? People that need to be protected? Trump's AG, Pam Bondi, said she would release it. Then she says it doesn't exist. We don't really have anything. There's nothing in there. And also, I don't have the list. Except now Trump is saying there is a list, except it was Obama and Clinton. I don't know if he even said which Clinton. It was Obama and Clinton, and maybe even Biden, who created the list or whatever. Trump biographer Michael Wolff says Epstein once showed him Polaroids of Trump with topless underage girls at Epstein's Palm Beach house. Not just photos with stains on Trump's pants, reportedly. These are just allegations from Michael Wolff, supposedly relating to 1999 or the year 2000 at Epstein's house. Michael Wolff believes the FBI had those photos, that they got them when they raided Jeffrey Epstein's safe. And we now have a situation where much of Trump's base is turning on him. And we're going to get to that in a moment. But you've got, right-wing media saying Pam Bondi needs to be fired. You've got others that are going further and saying it's not just Pam Bondi, it's actually Trump who's the problem. And this is sort of a monster they created, which they've lost control of, because a huge chunk of MAGA bought into QAnon. And QAnon said Democrats are hiding Epstein's secrets. Well, now you can release them. Recall that Trump now says the files do exist, but Obama and Hillary created them. And well, so release them then and show us all of the lies that are in there that Obama and Hillary are telling. So the recap is Ghislaine Maxwell is ready to testify, we believe. Department of Justice says there's no client list. Nobody went to Ghislaine Maxwell and said, come tell us the truth, which we supposedly want to know. And now Republicans have blocked, with a vote, they have voted to block the release of the Epstein records in the middle of the night. And increasingly, MAGA is seeing the betrayal. They are seeing that Trump isn't the guy who's going to do the exposing. Trump's the guy trying to avoid getting exposed. For weeks now, discussions have focused on Trump's big, beautiful bill and its potential Medicaid cuts. However, a far more dangerous, overlooked provision in the bill exists. At ground.news/Pacman, you'll discover what MAGA lawmakers quietly included, a provision that could block federal judges from enforcing court orders unless a bond is posted. And if this passes, it could render Trump above the law. This is a critical detail. It's largely unknown, and it really exemplifies this flood the zone strategy of the Trump administration. Now, this is why ground news is essential. It really is the best way to uncover buried information by showing you not just the story, but its origins across the political spectrum. You can see bias ratings, credibility scores, coverage timelines, and their browser extension also will flag potential bias when you're on a news site, sort of guiding you to more reliable sources for fact checking. Ground News gives you a smarter and more reliable way to stay informed. I'm partnering with them to give you 40% off their unlimited Vantage plan, which makes it just $5 a month. Visit ground.news/Pacman, scan the QR code, or use the code Pacman in the app to start. The link is in the description.